Well, here we are on the AMX. This was a really rusty hood, looked like that roof. I just hit it with some 40 grit. Man, this stuff works good. 40 grit on the DA. And it takes all this old stuff off of here real nice, right down the metal, rust and all. I got a dent in it here. This looks kind of caved in a little bit. I've been playing with that hinge. It looks to me like this hood's bent right here. I tried to adjust the fenders a little. I got a little right there in the middle. It looks like it's touching still. These are straight. Close enough. I did get this, paper's length by moving the fender back a little. It's still not right. It needs to, whole hood needs to move over. An eighth of an inch, and it's got to come away from this at least a 1/16 of an inch. So I played with these hinges and stuff in here, and it looks like I can take a little grinder or something and elongate the holes. They're all the way up against the bolts right now, so I just elongate the holes a little. I can take a 1/16 there easily, and here for sure, and move it over a little. That'll close this gap and open that one, so this will be real straight. And I think I can do that just by elongating the bolt holes. And then I decided to work on this front end again. The brake's not sticking anymore. See, it's rolling free on this one. I think the other one's a little tight, but I got some bushings for this what do they call it, strut bar, I think. These, you can see, I mean, they're really chewed up, and the shock is gone too. I got another set of shocks, so I looked everywhere for wrenches, and the only thing I could get to work was a 25mm thing, and I broke it loose. It wasn't that bad, and actually my lathe thing is probably 1 1/16", and that's a 1-inch bolt. So anyway, I'm gonna pull this thing off and clean up the area where they mount, and bolt in this new polyurethane stuff, and that'll center my caster. And since I'm down here, I'm going to take off the shock. I also got the sway bar links. I may fool around here and just try to do this all on one side, do the shock and the thing, and just do one whole side instead of, I was going to put sway bars in, or the link here in, and then I've also got the mounts here for that torsion bar. So kind of wanted to try to take all that out in one piece and do the link and the torsion bar, but for now this will immediately make the steering better, control the caster, at least on this wheel for sure, because it's really bad. But the nut come off alright, so I don't think I'll have a problem. I found a tool that'll kind of fit, and with a hammer I can break it loose. And these other bolts that hold it in, I think are 9/16 or 5/8. I'll take those off and clean this up. Funny thing here on this bar, you see that plate on it with this bent thing in it? I don't know what the fuck that is. It don't look like it hits anything, and it's kind of in the way of my bolts. I'm going to try to take it off, but I don't see what that's supposed to hit or contact. It's not moving back and forth. It's not a spring stop. Well, it might be it's a stop for it hits the arm here. The right turn or left turn stop. Then have one on the right. I mean on the driver's side. Anyway, I'll just take it loose from the bottom. I can hold it with a wrench here on top. And it looks like it's a 5/8 for sure. Let's see if I can break this loose. Well, the rod come out pretty easily. 11/16 in there. It's kind of a weird size, but it looks like all this rubber and shit stayed here. Well, that don't look too bad. How about that? Knocked right out. So now I just put the good bushings on this and clean it up a little bit with a wire brush and put it back together. Here's a kit I got. Mustang strut rod bushings, it says. And let me go compare that old one. These look awful thick. Well, there's the old one. Probably minus some wear. So man, I don't know if 2 of these will go in there or not. Yeah, that's way too big, I think. I don't know. Go on the strut rod even. Yeah, see, I'll have to cut that down a lot. Have to cut it down to this size. Whatever that is. But, boy, I'm really not leaving a hell of a lot of room. This other one goes on, and it just won't even, the bolt won't even. I could move this way back here probably. And I don't know if they even fit in the holes. Yeah, they fit in the holes. Well, you know, that's probably the thing to do. So I need this, and need 2 of these. You know what I could do is I could put these in the lathe and cut off some. So if I took that right to the flat part, it'd be there. And if I took this one right to the flat part, so it would be, let's see, approximately get this all the way back. If I cut that one all the way back, it looks like I have plenty of room to get a nut on here. Is it right? No. It would be cut to here and here. I thought that was too much. Yeah, I could just barely get a nut on if it was cut. If these 2 things were cut. And I could get a piece of metal that's good enough to squash them. And there should be a washer. Oh yeah, here's a washer. And a washer will go on it, alright. These fit the hole good. So actually they're just kind of big. But what it can do, and no, that's still going to move it even if I open it all the way up here in the back. Let's see, I could move it, you know, a whole lot there. Maybe this plus this. It's almost the width of the whole thing there, so you know, damn, I might be able to do that. I wonder what would be the downside of cutting off this. You know, this was part of the. What we should do is, I'll be right back. Yeah, see, this one won't be enough to put it on there at all, so if I'm just going to lathe off, see what these things turn like. They're hard plastic, so they should be real easy to turn off. And they just have to fit that, you know. So I'm going to go try to turn one of these things, take both of them just in case it works, and let's see what happens. Well, these sleeves here were just soft rubber. As soon as get enough cut on that bit to start pulling it in, it's actually walking it out, and it popped out, so it's too soft to cut on a lathe, so I'm just going to do it with a Sawzall. Maybe you can see here a little bit. So it's too soft to cut with a lathe. Let's see what happens. Yeah, see, it wanted to turn even then in the lathe, but I was getting somewhere with it. Let me recover my piece. Well, tried to get a little better bite on it this time. Try sawing from the other side. Well, it's almost cut. Looks like it was going crooked here at the bottom. But I could just tear that off. I'll see if I can patch this piece here. Just take that off with a grinder. It should be able to take this rubber. Get it out of here and give it a shot. Sometimes grinders work, sometimes they don't. I'll see if I can set you up here and see what we can do. It looks like it's set up good enough. I've worked on this little grinder a lot. I got it where it hardly don't vibrate at all. I don't have that much to take off in here. Oh yeah, good. It looks like it's cutting up pretty good. Might be better to cut it 2 or 3 places with a Sawzall to get it a little more flat. I'm looking down the edge there and taking a little at a time, but looks like I still got a little hump right here. fit perfect by any means, but hopefully, you know, the outside should be chamfered. Should be like a little cone shape to go in there. I'm not going to take all the time to do that, but this is pretty good. It's pretty straight, and we'll see what it looks like with just one cut. See how much room we got. Yeah, that ain't gonna do us much good. We're right at the edge of the threads, so we need some room to put a bolt on, and so we just have to cut this one off. Well, this time I'll try to cut it a little thinner with that Sawzall. See what up. I cut it in about 3 places here. And each one this one a little too deep. Anyway, there it is. Shame I can't turn it in the lathe, but I'll just take it over there to the grinder and clean that up. Alright, I got that one done. Ground it off, looks pretty good. Goes on here. This one will go on next. The other way. Just enough room to get half a nut on or something. I'll probably move this back so at least get a full nut on that thing. I don't know what this will do to the steering. It looks like it's the edge on this one. Oh well, there's where the inside is. So right now they're not a hell of a lot thicker than they were before. I don't know what to do. Well, if I get it back too far this way, I'd still only have half of my air, and I got the small one on the inside, so that's the one that's determined a pretty critical length. So anyway, I need to go machine one of these to be the thickness of this or height of this other spacer. Here we go. I just cut a little longer piece off that spacer. Same piece I cut before, and I got enough to get a nut and a washer on there pretty good before it tightens down. I think 3 or 4 threads. The only reason I'm not moving it at all is because I don't really want to change this alignment if I can help it. It was probably good, I don't know. Anyway, I think I got enough room to put this in. Let's give it a go. Yeah, I tried to. Well, there it is. I got almost a full nut of threads there. These are back down and torqued up. So, I didn't have to, I could tell the front end didn't move much, if at all. So I think I've preserved the front end alignment, the caster anyway. We can move it back quite a bit, but moving it forward is problematic. We don't have a lot of threads. We have to cut that spacer. But anyway, it's done and straight, and it's sure a lot better than those old worn up plastic things or rubber things I had there. Kind of wore me out a little bit. I think now that I know how to do it, I'll save the other side for another day. You know, I'm just thinking about whether I should do those strut rod bushings right now. I mean, sway bar bushings. Looks like I could jack it up, take the pressure off of it. And that for sure would help it over here on this side as far as flex. I'll see what it takes to do that. I think I can soak it, and that bolt should come out of there pretty easy. Now there's a back on the ground. Took sway bar links off, and I know I bought some. I looked everywhere, couldn't find them, so let's put the old stuff back on. Might be my imagination, but it just looks better. It looks straighter somehow. But anyway, I bet it drive a lot better, a little better anyway. Clean up the rest of my stuff and give it a test drive. Well, that's done. I've put in these new sway bar bushings and shock. There wasn't particularly anything difficult about it. These are gas adjust shocks, and they come with the thing that's holding them together. But you just take the old ones out and have to squash the new ones a little. I got it on the jack here so I could move it up and down and tighten it up. Then there's a lock nut that goes on the top and a lock nut goes on the bottom. But they were pretty chewed up. See there, that's a sway bar there. They're pretty much gone, and the old shock was here, and you can see it was pretty much gone too. Yeah, gave you little striders. Yeah, they still had some shock in it, but at least now it's all new under here. The only interesting thing is that it looks like I'm leaking fluid, and it looks like it's coming out of this outside caliper. I noticed there was a little brake fluid on the tire when I got it all off, but now I know on a Corvette brakes, I don't remember, it's been 20 years since I worked on them, but they made a kit that you could bore these things out and press a new sleeve in. I might have to check into that because they were really rusted bad, and I do have a good machinist, so if I can find some sleeves for this, he can put new sleeves in it for me. I could probably do it myself, but chucking that up in a 4-jaw chuck and trying to bore it straight, and he can just put it in his mill and center it and mill it right out to the right thing and put a sleeve in it. But anyway, it's not leaking terribly bad. It's not like it's pouring out or anything, and it's good enough to drive around and finish getting the rest of this in here while I try to look for parts for this. I don't know if the other one's leaking or not. It probably is, because both of them had quite a bit of rust in them, but that'll be something I'll try to do. Anyway, the shock's in and locked down, so that should be everything I'm going to do to this front end for now. I've got a sway bar bushing. I got new ones there, but these are not really in too terrible a shape. At least I can find out what it's going to do with these new what do you call that thing there, camber adjustments. They look pretty tight, and I'll go ahead and do the other side and go give it a test ride. I probably ought to drive it with one side and see how the difference is, but it didn't make any difference. I know that other side shot, so I'll just finish bolting this one up and take the other one apart and get it done.